Coming up on this week's episode, we talk about the Chelsea game, Man United's shambolic performance at home, and Leeds' high-scoring game against Fulham. Wonders of White is back, and as is Liam's story. I also test Liam's knowledge of managers, so let's get started. Hello and welcome to episode 2, season 3 of the View from the Sideline podcast. It's Chris here and Liam is here as always. Hello, Liam.
Hello, Chris. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. You?
I'm great now.
Obviously, you've just had your first game of the season as we record this, and a 1-0 win.
Yeah.
Against Sheffield United.
Brilliant. Very happy with that. Would have taken that at the start of the game. Played against 10 men for 80 minutes, but, you know, a win is a win. Let's put it that way. So
are you going to win the league?
We're on course for it, Chris. We've got a 100% record. We're going to score 38 goals this year, and we're going to concede 0.
And you're above
amount of points.
You're above Man City at the moment as well. So.
We're above. So just looking at the table, we're above Leeds, which is always nice. We're above Chelsea, which I will constantly remind you of throughout the recording. We're above Man City and Man United, which is, I don't think we've ever been above all those teams at once. So that's always good.
There you go. Look, great day for you.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, so a bit different this week. We're actually going to do the teaser towards the end of the podcast because as you and me testing Liam this week, it's something a little bit different. So we're going to start off with the talking points from this weekend, and we're going to look at the Chelsea game against Liverpool. And I don't think I can start anywhere else other than Kepa, to be honest with you.
I'm sure you were delighted when we decided on this game to talk about.
The amount of times that this guy is mentioned when I talk to people about Chelsea is just ridiculous. It's just mistake after mistake after mistake. He's got hands like poppadoms and legs like jelly. That guy. It's infuriating, really, to be quite honest with you. You think of all the drama that this guy's been through at the club. You think about all the way back to that Carabao Cup final against Man City when he refused to come off the pitch. I would have thought alarm bells would start ringing then, that he's probably not the keeper that we want at the club. And I think yesterday, unfortunately, kind of summed up everyone's minds on him and probably Lampard's as well. The mistake for the second goal is, I don't even know what to say. He's just, what is he doing? What is he doing? Just get rid of it in the air, not on the floor. It's just basic stuff, and it's week in, week out.
It's no secret. It's no secret Liverpool are going to pressure high up. So you'd have thought, do a bit of homework. Not even doing homework. Everybody knows that. Why he decides, I'm going to keep on passing it short when I've got 3 of probably the quickest players. Yeah, always bearing down on me. It just, decision making is not his strong point. I think if a game summed up his Chelsea career so far, this is probably it. Huge mistake to cost a goal.
Yeah.
Didn't look confident. I don't think there was. I only managed to catch the highlights of match of the day, but there was one time he just went wandering out the goal.
Well, yeah, he ran out the goal.
He ran out after Salah, and I'm thinking you're not gonna beat him to the ball. Why are you? Yeah. I don't know whether he's trying to overcompensate. Maybe. They said on match of the day that they almost felt sorry for him, but I can kind of see where they're coming from because it's clear his confidence has gone, but. I think he's done it to himself in that, like you mentioned, that League Cup final, not coming off the pitch, sort of actions like that, not the actions of someone that you feel sorry for, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. And the thing is, obviously, it's expected within the next 24 hours that Mendy from Rennes comes in, and the last goalkeeper we bought from Rennes turned out to be world-class goalkeeper,
pretty decent, wasn't he?
So, I know they've got high hopes for him. Whether he comes straight into the team and, takes over that sort of number one role, I'm not sure. To be fair, I think even if next game he's not ready, I think Caballero will probably start in goal. Unfortunately, I think Kepa's probably had his day now. But trying to offload him is not going to be very easy because obviously the price that, the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, you're either probably likely going to have to loan him out somewhere. Because if someone looks at a video recording of his highlights, they're not going to be paying £70 million for him. And I'd like to know whose idea it was to buy him for £70 million as well, because equally they should be getting fired. But sort of away from Kepa, defensively, we weren't actually that bad. It seemed pretty organised first half. It was just sort of
until the red
5 minutes.
Card.
Yeah, that was so close to half time. Sort of come out.
Yeah.
I would have thought at half time he was like, just try and keep what you're doing, but obviously it was just inevitable. I think once you conceded one, it was probably going to be two, and it was just that sort of 5 minutes sort of killed the game. Obviously, then missed a penalty, which is equally more annoying as well. But I think the defence, we've got Chilwell still to come back in, and obviously Thiago Silva to slot back in. It seems to be that Zuma's his sort of number one choice out of Christensen and Tomori. I know Tomori came on in the second half yesterday, and he did all right. He's still got a lot of learning to do, but I think going forward it'll probably be Zuma and Silva, I think, taking those two spots.
Yeah, I do think that, again, I only sort of caught the highlights, but other than the 5 minute spell where obviously Liverpool scored both their goals, it wasn't even for the whole time, don't get me wrong, but I think you more than matched them. And, especially in the first half, there weren't any real clear-cut chances, I'd say, for either side. But, it was a bit of a tetchy game, I think, overall.
Oh, yeah,
but I think you'd controlled it quite well as the home side. I think, you'd stopped Liverpool doing what Liverpool are known for doing. And there are plenty of positives for you to take. But, yeah, obviously, if the penalty goes in, it's a different game. And also, if your keeper doesn't make a howler, on another day it ends 1-1, you might go and snatch a winner. It's... it wasn't the free-flowing attacking football that we saw in the 5-3 during lockdown at the end of last season, was it? But I think Liverpool will be very, very pleased to come away from Stamford Bridge with all 3 points. So I do think that the extra quality was up front for them. Not that Werner played particularly badly. I don't think he did. But
no, I think it was.
You've got so many new players going forward. There's a few times I thought Havertz, the link-up play isn't quite there yet, but it was promising. But you've got to give them time to bed in.
I say give it like 3-4 weeks. Silva come back in, Chilwell come in. Hopefully, the new goalkeeper's up to par. I think we'll look a half decent side. I don't think we're going to be probably anywhere near winning the league, but I think it's a sort of step in the right direction. But
absolutely,
we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully we'll carry on next week and get another win. But we'll move on to another team that struggled this weekend. Is Manchester United. I think if there was any sort of football fans out there, it's Man United fans who are crying for a signing. There was something that was just completely off on Saturday. It's just very hard to kind of pinpoint where it actually all went wrong. But
I think it was more than one issue.
There was just didn't seem to be any sort of cohesion in the team.
No.
Going forward, it looked sluggish. It was nowhere near sort of, the Man United we saw after lockdown. It was like a completely different side. Obviously, Donny managed to get a goal for them, but very, very terrible defending. the penalty, there was a few. I think people, obviously, when the retake was done, obviously they changed kick takers. Obviously, in some people's eyes, that's not right, but I don't think there's no rules against that. So, but overall, very lackluster performance from Manchester United, and they're going to need to bring a couple of defenders in. I think that if ever, a performance showed that you needed something new at the back, it was definitely that one.
Yeah, it's been another frustrating transfer window. I think, Van der Beek, obviously, we both know him from our Football Manager careers with Ajax. But
7 years in, he's still doing it for Ajax.
He looked to be a good signing, and when that happened, I thought, well, maybe United are on for a better transfer window, but it seems again like they're being linked with everyone, and then they're not getting the people that they're being linked with.
It's something to do with, this is just thinking, like maybe the board don't completely have 100% faith in Ollie. Do you think it might be that? Do you think it's
possibly? I said I would be looking at it and saying, if I was, some of the big names they've been linked with have been like Reguilon from Real Madrid, and they're always linked with Bale and people like that. I would, if I was one of those players, look at that and think, Man United is a massive club. Obviously, they want to be fighting at the top, but at the minute there's something so drastically wrong, me going there isn't going to do that. It needs way more investment beforehand before I'm going to be tempted to go and join them at the moment. They've picked up Van der Beek from Ajax, who's obviously got Champions League experience, and I would say he is quite a big player. But when you're looking at where they need to fill holes with a big player, it's a centre back, and no one wants to join them. No one wants to be part of that solution of saying, right, well, I'm going to go to Man United and I'm going to make a huge difference to them, because I think there's so much that they need to work on. I mean, even in midfield, I don't understand how Paul Pogba carries on and has the reputation that he does, and how he can be so different. We've seen him play for France. We've seen him play for Juventus before he joined United. It's a totally different player. And I don't think that's necessarily all down to, the Premier League is a different type of football to Serie A or international. I don't know whether it's that he doesn't want to be there, or he wants to go somewhere else, or what. He just looked so lazy at the weekend. There was no, I don't know, if you're a midfielder and you're chasing a game, which they were from early on, you want to be at it full pelt, in the faces, closing down, and they just,
That's what I meant. That's what I meant by them being sort of sluggish in attack. There wasn't really nothing coming from him. He wasn't feeding the right balls. Just his overall control, it wasn't great either. I'm very surprised he's still at Manchester United. I thought they would have tried to cash in on him at some point last season. I was just very surprised he's still there. I thought when they brought Fernandes in, I thought he was probably going to be the replacement for Pogba. But the thing is, sometimes I think it's just down to the attitude of the player, and I think it's clear to see he probably doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
But I do think probably on decent money.
Yeah, but you can be on all the money that you want if you don't want to be at a club. I just think the attitude has gone, and I think United, we all know that De Gea was supposed to move 3 years ago now to Madrid, and that didn't happen. Since then, it's almost been like he's a different goalkeeper. There's been flashes of what he can do. He's a great shot stopper, but I don't know whether it was a confidence thing. His whole attitude and demeanour when he was playing just looked like it had changed. I think you could probably apply the same to Pogba. I don't think he wants to be there. And when you've got two big players like that, that's your starting goalkeeper and what's meant to be your star midfielder.
It's almost like half the spine of the team, isn't it?
Exactly. And they've got so many young players coming through, with Rashford and Greenwood and Brandon Williams, and they're looking up to these guys and seeing no sort of effort whatsoever. It doesn't inspire confidence really for the young players coming through. Personally, I don't think. So, I mean, for United, I think the goalkeeper situation is actually quite simple. You've just got to play Henderson now. De Gea didn't make any. He couldn't have saved any of the goals. He did well on the original penalty, but to me, it makes no sense to keep him around.
I think starting Henderson, would almost maybe give De Gea a bit of a kick up the backside to think, well, there is competition here now, because he hasn't really had. I know he's had Romero or whatever he's called, for the last 7 seasons or whatever it is, behind him.
Sit on the bench, hasn't he?
But yeah, he's not got anyone fighting really for that top spot. But it's interesting. I remember about 2 or 3 seasons ago, I think it was after Man United lost to Liverpool. I remember they were speaking to Gary Neville, and he was saying then, and this was 3 seasons ago, that Manchester United needed to sign 5-6 world-class players to get that team back to anywhere near winning the league. And you think over the last 3 years, can you pimp? I know Bruno Fernandes has done well, but I wouldn't say he's world-class. Pogba, I think they pinned their hopes on him being world-class.
But he's not.
No. They've used their youngsters like Greenwood and Williams. They're not world-class players. They're there, or they're there, or they'll get there. And you think the only really world-class player that I can think of in their team is probably Rashford. And I wouldn't even say he's the closest thing they have to a world-class player. And that's not a jibe at them. And I'm fully aware I'm a Chelsea fan, and we don't have anyone as near. Well, there's probably a couple in contention, but I don't think that they've changed that team enough in the last 3 seasons. And I think they spent all that money on Pogba. It's almost like they're maybe a bit scared to get the checkbook out a little bit more.
Well, I think
you've got to say,
I think back to Ferguson, and that's what it goes back. That is part of the problem, isn't it? We always go back to Ferguson, don't we? And we always go, well, United under Ferguson would have done this, but that was nearly 10 years ago now. Maybe they need to completely rethink their model. But you look at the players that Ferguson attracted when he was at United. If there was a problem in defence, he went and signed Jaap Stam. There was a problem with creating goals. He signed Cantona. There was a problem with scoring goals. He signed Andy Cole, Dwight York, Teddy Sheringham. It was. If there was a problem, he would go out, he would source the right person. He'd have the spine of his team with, your Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, and your Beckham, and whoever else from that 92 era, Gary Neville and so on. Anything around that was up for grabs then, wasn't it? And if he needed someone to come in, he'd go out and he'd normally get the best. Obviously, he had a few misses where he signed like Forlan and Veron and people like that. But generally, he was looking at world-class talent and bringing it into Man United.
Definitely.
And now, I don't know. Obviously, it's very different having Solskjaer in charge. Yes, he's a Man United legend, but outside the game, I don't know. If I was a big player playing for Juventus or Real Madrid, would I say I want to leave Zidane behind and I'm going to go and work with Solskjaer? I probably wouldn't.
He probably knows the best players in Scandinavia. Probably.
Exactly.
Mulder. He could maybe bring one in, but. I think it's clear to see, even when you look back when that last season Fergie had, they won the league, but they only really won the league because Robin van Persie was scoring left, right and centre. Yeah. And you look at the team that was inherited by sort of David Moyes from there, it wasn't a hugely successful team anyway.
No.
You sort of take Van Persie out of that, and you're probably left with a very substandard Fergie side.
Yeah.
I think and they've just not recovered. They've just never recovered from that. No. And I think it's going to take more than just one defender, I think, to sort it out. But where they
don't want to take anything away from Palace, though.
Oh, no.
Because obviously a player that was in that last Fergie team has scored twice against them this weekend, and Palace have been very good so far this year in the 2 games that I've seen them so far, and they did fully deserve the win. But Man United at Old Trafford,
What's the second time in a year that's happened?
Yeah,
they beat them there last year.
And they beat City at the Etihad, didn't they, last year as well?
Yeah.
So
they are a hard team to play against, and
Hodgson gets them organised, doesn't he?
To be fair, like they've kept hold as a half for like 3 years now. I think every transfer window he's linked with someone. So, whoever's there keeping him at the club, hats off, because he's the one that makes them can change a game for them with just a turn or a flick or just a bit of he's got enthusiasm in abundance. So fair play to Crystal Palace and Hodgson. They did really well, but let's see what happens with Man United. So let's move on to your second favourite side in the league, Leeds United. Another sort of thrilling game. Very exciting games to watch for the neutral. Probably not so excited for Bielsa. Defensively, look a bit out of sorts. But going forward,
they look great, don't they?
They look great. So I think he's just got to try and find the balance now between attack and defend. But are you that worried at the start of the season if he's shipping in sort of 7 goals in 2 games, but scoring 7 goals in 2 games?
I mean, if it wasn't Liverpool in the first game, you might be worried. But as I think I said last week, there are going to be teams that go to Anfield and concede 4 goals. So they're probably the 3 best attacking players in the league. You can't really judge a defence based on playing Liverpool, but
no, I agree.
I
totally agree.
Exactly. But great to watch. We've had so many entertaining games this week.
Well, this is killing you, saying that.
No, yes, I have problem. It's the fans more than the actual team itself. I don't know. I still don't like Bamford. I still think he's a bit of a cheater. But
this is you're not still cut up about that, are you?
Oh yeah,
he's a Chelsea legend. I won't have things that weren't said about him like that.
Going forward, I'm surprised. I'm still surprised that the record signing Rodrigo doesn't seem to be getting a look in the league at the minute.
He's forming that bench nicely, isn't he? He played in the League Cup. He scored in the League Cup game, didn't he? Yeah, I think he did.
I didn't think he did. I thought Leeds lost, and I didn't think he scored, but I might be wrong there. Okay. But Bamford is obviously still leading the line for them, and it's working at the minute. Another 4 goals for them this weekend, but. The other thing that I did notice from that game is Fulham looking serious trouble. I think 4-3, to be fair, probably flattered them a bit.
Oh yeah, they
being
were
4-1 down, and it could have been more. And I remember the commentator saying, this could be really damaging. And they showed a bit of spirit to pull it back, but I thought that was more through a bit of luck than judgment. They've obviously got a dangerous striker in Mitrovic, but. Yeah, he did. He did at times actually make the Leeds defence look quite poor, but other than that, I don't really think.
You've got Fulham next week, haven't you? Actually, so
yeah, we have. So I'm just going to put them down. I'm going to criticise them because I know
6-0, 7-0 to Fulham.
I expect nothing less, to be honest. Newwash is going to lose it now, but yeah, as I said last week, I think Leeds are going to be absolutely fine this year. Yeah. But I just wanted to mention the defence again because we did touch on it a bit last week. To concede 3 goals against Fulham, and we did sort of want to use this as a sort of a barometer of how much more improved they were with the signings that they made than the other Championship teams, and. That came up last year, and I think they could have easily blown Fulham away this weekend. But I don't know what you made of the game, whether you watched it.
Yeah, well, I saw the highlights of it. It was pretty much a goal every highlight, to be fair. But it's just, I think it's just simple, really. Going forward, I think they're a very exciting team to watch, but defending, they seem pretty hopeless at the moment. But I think they've tactically, they've probably got one of the best managers you can get. So, if anyone's going to shore up the defence, it'll be him. I know that they were desperately trying to get White back, weren't they? So whether they obviously are looking for maybe another defender. Where they're going to find that now, I'm not too sure. But I think give it time. I think probably just get the first couple of games out of the way. Maybe sort of see where they are in game 7, game 8. If they're still having games where they're winning 4-3, losing 4-3, or more or less, I think I'd be a bit more worried then. But for now, I think they'll be fine. Like you said, I think out of the teams that came up, I think they'll be fine. I think West Brom conceded quite a few at the weekend as well. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think Leeds will be perfectly fine. I actually think Leeds will probably finish mid-table.
Yeah, I could see them finishing, maybe even scraping in the top half if they get a good run together. I could see them, but similar to Sheffield United last year, I think, except they probably went about it a different way. They won as free scoring, but it's a well-organised Championship team coming up who spent wisely and kept the spine of their team.
They kept the shape,
well for the Championship. Exactly. They've got style, haven't they?
Yeah. Very hard to play against Sheffield United. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was this week's talking points.
There's a lot of goals this weekend, wasn't there, Chris?
There was a record.
I mean, we had so many games we could choose to talk about this week.
Yeah, we just didn't have enough time. Sorry, Rich. I know Rich messaged me this morning about hoping that we were going to talk about Tottenham, and I told him that they didn't make the cut.
Any other week they probably would have done.
Yeah, but they did play well, Tottenham. Can't take it away from them. Son is a huge player for them this season, and I said to Rich this morning, I said, I don't think that they'll finish in the top 4, but the key to them finishing or trying to finish in that top 4 is keeping every single one of that starting 11 fit.
Yeah.
And you think this week they've got a game tomorrow and on Thursday, so it's going to be very, very difficult to do that. Obviously tomorrow in the League Cup, I am assuming that it is going to be the under-21s playing that game.
Yeah.
So obviously the rest of the team will be out in the Europa League. I think for them, Europa League for them is going to be key this season. I think that might be their only way into the Champions League. So,
I think you might be right. And, interestingly, as I live in Southampton, I know a lot of Southampton fans, they're not happy at the moment. I've seen a lot of them saying that Danny Ings aside, that they're a Championship squad at the minute. No, they're not. But,
happy. They
were to the end of last season.
Yeah, but they moan.
They're very pessimistic going into this new season, though. So, interesting to see how that unfolds.
We'll see. So that was talking points this week. We'll be back in part 2 with Liam's story, which I'm very much looking forward to. So we'll see you then. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Views from the Sideline podcast. Like I said, a bit of a switch up this week. I'm going to do the teaser for Liam. And this is just
payback time for you, isn't it?
Well, it is, but I think you'll get these. So I have got 3 managerial quotes in front of me. I just want you to tell me who or which manager said this.
Okay.
Now, I can give you some clues if you are struggling for each one, but the first one is very, very easy.
Okay.
So the first one is, please don't call me arrogant, but I am a European champion and I think I am a special one.
Yeah, that's got to be Jose, hasn't it?
Was Jose Mourinho after his first press conference as Chelsea manager.
Oh, was it his first press? Oh,
yeah.
That is confident, isn't it? I thought he'd been in Chelsea for a while. Oh, I didn't realise it was his first one. Christ.
Okay. Next one. I couldn't be more chuffed if I were a badger at the start of mating season.
Oh. There's a few managers that spring to mind.
This was said by a manager. They beat Cardiff.
So that to me sounds like Ian Holloway. I'm going to go with Ian Holloway.
Yes, correct. That is Ian Holloway. And this is probably my favourite one of all time. And I think you'll get this one because it's so memorable. Which manager said this in a press conference after being asked a question? If you don't know the answer to that question, then I think you are an ostrich.
Yes, I do remember this one. That was Nigel Pearson, wasn't it? Just before he got sacked at Leicester. Yeah, that was funny.
That is the mind of Nigel Pearson. After, yeah, you are correct. That was on asking him the question if he thought his job was safe, and then it wasn't, because actually 2 games after he said that, he got sacked. So yeah, I thought that was funny. So I saw this in a list. The Daily Mail printed a list of their favourite 50 quotes from managers. Some of them are like, all right, but some of them are just hilarious. Like that ostrich one. I couldn't believe that ostrich one wasn't even the top 10. It was like 18th or something. I was like, my God. Well, it's the ramblings of a madman, that.
Yeah, that is a man that's lost it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just.
There's a few Ian Holloway ones as well, isn't there? That he was always great at press conferences.
Well, there's the famous one about Ronaldo, but my hand just didn't want to type that all out when he says he's hung like a mouse or something, but he's probably hung like a donkey. I think that was along the lines of those things. But yeah, bit different this week for the teaser, but it's just because I was reading through the quotes. So
that's good.
Thought I'd see if you can have a little think.
That was a nice little reminder of Nigel Pearson being a bit mad. I always feel sorry for a journalist in that situation, because
you just don't know.
They're only doing their job, aren't they? They're only asking a question, and they're the one that gets the stick back. But,
so I thought it was probably one of the funniest comebacks I've heard. But yeah, right. So settle down, everyone. Grab your cup of coffee or your cup of tea. Sits in front of the open fire, and Liam will get his big encyclopedia of football stories out. I can imagine you have a pipe. I don't know why. You got a
pipe and slippers.
A pipe and slippers in your dressing gown, and he's just turning the page to a new story or a new chapter of footballing stories. I
am. So this week I've been searching around for a particularly good one, because I was running out of I've got a little list going, and I was running out, so I wanted to find some new ones, and I came across this absolute cracker this week. So I managed to find it somehow on a article on the Independent website from 1993. So we're going back to that time, and we're going back to a match between Congleton and Rossendale. So prior to this game, the officials for Congleton had received the sad news of the death of Fred Cope, who was a former ambulance driver and Congleton's oldest supporter. So without hesitation, their match programmer, Chris Phillips, wrote an obituary for the programme and informed the referees that a 1-minute silence needed to take place before kickoff. So with fans entering the ground, they're all buying a programme and reading about the sad passing of their friend, lifelong Congleton fan, and the players are just coming out onto the pitch, about to surround the centre circle, ready for the referee to blow his whistle to start the 1-minute silence. And then all of a sudden, there's a bit of a shock, because 85-year-old Fred Cope, very much alive and well, walked into the ground. So quick as a flash, the 1-minute silence was changed to honour Sir Bobby Moore rather than the recently not deceased Fred Cope. So when he spoke about the incident, he took it in good humour. He said he'd had a few funny looks when he walked into the ground and didn't realise what was going on until he read the programme and saw his own obituary. And he was quoted as saying, "I have felt bad the last week, but not that bad," which I thought was great. And then the day got even better for him. So it's not over there. Congleton ended up winning 6-1, which was great. And then according to Chris Phillips, the guy who wrote the match programme, Fred not only came back from the dead, but he also won £10 in the half-time raffle. So there you go. What a good day for Fred.
So he came back to life and won £10.
Yeah. There was no explanation as to why someone had reported him dead. that I could find. But
that's either a prank that's gone a bit too far.
That's the second oldest Congleton fan thinking, I'm fed up of being the second oldest.
Yeah, I want to be the first.
So I'm going to knock off the oldest. But I thought that tickled me this week.
Imagine sitting in your probably standing at their ground, probably stand next to their ground, and then just like looking down, seeing him there, and thinking, it's just like taking a double take, like looking at the match program, then looking at him and thinking, he's alive. He's alive.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is quite funny. And I was hoping when you started that story and you were saying about he was dead, I was like thinking, oh, that's going to be funny if he's actually still alive.
Yeah.
Although slightly embarrassing.
Yeah, well, I would have thought so. Yeah, when you, I can't imagine walking into a ground and everybody staring at you like you're not meant to be there. But obviously,
at least he got to see what people actually thought about him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, as long as anything nasty in his obituary.
Yeah, what a horrible man. Yeah. And we're glad he's gone.
Grumpy old man. But yeah. Oh, a very good story there. I enjoyed that one very much. Cool. So we'll move on to the Wonders of White, and 4 for you as always. And first up is Brendan Rodgers became the 4th quickest manager to reach 100 Premier League wins. So he's in a company with. Can you name the other 3 managers that were faster?
So what was it, to 100 league wins?
Yeah.
So I imagine Guardiola's got to be up there, hasn't he?
He's not in there.
Go with Pep.
Nope.
Oh, has he not got to 100 yet? Who else would there be? I'm guessing Ferguson.
Fergie is number 1.
And I would guess Wenger then.
Nope.
Oh, I'm not doing very well this week, am I?
I can give you a clue.
Yeah, go on then.
One of them was a Liverpool manager.
And it wasn't Brendan Rodgers.
And Blackburn manager.
Oh, it's got to be Dalglish then, has it?
It is Dalglish, yeah. And the third one surprised me even more. Think Newcastle manager.
First one I think of is Keegan.
That's correct, yeah. Kevin Keegan.
Really?
Yeah, he's 3rd on the list.
Wow. No, I wouldn't have. If you hadn't have told me Newcastle, I wouldn't have even guessed it.
Right. So it's Fergie, Dalglish, Keegan, and now Brendan Rodgers. That's it. This is the first time. Yeah. This is the first time that both Liverpool and Everton have both won their opening 2 games in the Premier League since the 93-94 season. Just goes to see how bad Everton normally are.
That is quite surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is quite surprising, isn't it? Because, Everton obviously had a good run under Moyes and constantly finished in the top 6. And, yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah. David De Gea has failed to save any of his last 18 penalties against him in the Premier League. The last one he saved was against Everton from Leighton Baines in 2014.
Well, to be fair, he was unlucky not to save it this week.
Yeah. So this one is from a Spanish. This is a Spanish one. I don't know why I picked this one because the guy's name. I'm just gonna murder this guy's name. I know his first name. So aged 41 and 114 days, Alberto Cifuentes, I think I did it, became the 2nd oldest La Liga player ever for Cadiz.
Blimey, 41.
Yeah. Can you guess where he plays? What position he plays?
He's got to be a keeper.
He is a goalkeeper, yeah.
Got to be.
Yeah, 2nd oldest. And I think the oldest was from 1920 something. So, it's been literally like nearly 100 years. So,
it's good. Yeah. Well, to be fair, every year they normally release a little something on BBC or Sky about that guy in Japan who's like signs another 50, contract to keep going, and he's in his 50s.
He's like 50, isn't he? But he still scores. He still scores
goals. He does occasionally, yeah. He does, yeah. He's just been going such a long time. You think, oh, give it up.
So from that, you've taken that Kevin Keegan, is the third quickest time to get to 100 Premier Leagues. Although I think you rightly said Pep, I think he is more on his way. I think
maybe he's just not had 100 yet.
But no, I think he's in the 80s. I think it was 70s or 80s. But I think when you look at his percentage, it would beat Doug. If he keeps going the rate he's going, he'll be second. He won't beat Fergie, but he'll be there. But yeah. No. So yeah.
Good facts this week.
Yeah, that was it. That's that. Anything else, mate?
No, not from me. Other than Villa are going to win the league, obviously.
Oh dear. Well, you've got Fulham next week.
Yeah. So.
And we've got West Brom. So.
So you'll be expecting to win that, but
yeah. We haven't got a League Cup game this week, so.
Oh yeah, we have actually. We've got Bristol City away. If we can get
to do against them, mate. I don't want you coming away from that. I don't want Bristol City winning.
No, I know you don't like them, obviously, with your allegiances to Yeovil there, but no, if we do get a win against Fulham next week, it'll obviously be a very good start to the season for us.
If Tottenham get through, we got them in the next round. So I think they're playing Leyton Orient. Is it Leyton Orient they're playing? I think so.
Yes, they are. I think.
So we'll play the winners of that. I'm assuming that the next round is probably next week. So they're doing literally like every week at the moment, aren't they?
Oh no, you are playing, Chris. You are. You're playing on Wednesday, and you're at home to Barnsley.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, getting
ahead of yourself.
Yeah. It's because I saw on there that said we play the winners. I was like, oh, okay. That's just to show how much I'm bothered about the Carabao Cup.
Oh, I know.
I would do Barnsley for you, mate. Don't worry. You might be playing them next season.
You got a better chance of that at the minute. So good luck with the relegation battle, mate.
Yeah. God, this relegation sucks, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Well, I haven't got anything else. So we'll be back next week.